Hey my friend, welcome to this video here where I am really excited to share with you some insights that let me check if I press record. Yes, I press record. I wanted to share with you some powerful insights that I got from the personality type system human design. This is something that has completely changed my life. It has allowed me to live in more alignment with what I feel is my true self. It's helped me to gain really specific and unique insights about my unique energy type, how I function differently than other human beings. This has given me very practical insight about literally like how to run my business in a way that's more energetically efficient. So there's less frustration and doing things that don't feel right for you. A lot of people, we waste a lot of energy in our lives, in our businesses, in our work, with our family, with our relationships. Look how nice this path is, guys. Holy shit. That's really nice. Oh my God. Wow. We waste a lot of energy in our lives doing things that aren't actually aligned with who we are as a person. So there's this really weird, and when I say weird, I mean a really weird personality type system called human design that came to this guy named Ra Uruhu, of course that's his name, when he was living, I forget, it was in Portugal or something, and he was living in like an abandoned hut. And he was like possessed by a spirit and somehow there was this 8-day process where he went through this like transformational, like transpersonal experience where he was given this insanely profound and useful wisdom called the human design system. It's this very advanced personality type system that blends together many different fields. It blends together science, it blends together genetics, it blends together astrology, it blends together I Ching, Ayurveda. There's a lot of stuff in it, and my arm is hurting me, so we gotta go set up on the tripod there. There is a lot of stuff in this human design system. It is extremely complicated, like to the point where I've been learning it for a few months now, and I feel... Whoops, I accidentally stopped the recording. So, Ra Uruhu, living in a forest shack in Portugal, or it was on a hill or something, he was possessed by a spirit, and it's a really fucked up story. If you want to hear the origin story, I'll link in the description. That'll entertain you for the night. Really crazy story that may not even make you not even want to listen to what I'm gonna say in this video. But besides the insane origin story of the system, I've personally found human design to be extremely useful in my personal life, in my business, and also I've been working with my coaching clients a lot with it, and I've been testing it on other people. So this is a lot of my processes. I research things, I test it on myself, I see it works, I test it on my friends, see if it works for them, and I test it on my clients as well, and I've been getting great results with my clients. For example, one person I was working with who he's an audiologist, so he works with people with hearing loss. When he discovered that he was a projector in human design, it helped him to get more clear about what his role is as a guide for people, and he actually had more awareness of what kinds of clients to take on, what kinds of clients to not waste his energy on because they're not listening to him. And he used to get a little bit bitter and frustrated when clients would come in and they would give him problems. So I kind of, using the human design, helped him to gain more clarity how he can tell intuitively if the client's actually receiving his projector wisdom, and how to only work with clients that are actually listening to him and actually receiving his energy so that he doesn't get bitter and frustrated, and it just makes everything a lot more energetically efficient. So one of the profound insights that I gained from human design, for example, I'm a projector, and we're going to talk about the different types in a second, but just I wanted to give you a practical example, is that just like a very practical insight is that I'm a projector. So as a projector, if someone is not listening to you, meaning like they're not respecting your wisdom on the subject at hand, then you shouldn't try to force your information down their throat, because they won't receive you, and it's going to make you feel unseen. It's going to make you feel unrecognized, and it's going to make you feel bitter and frustrated. So that's just one practical example. All right, we're all over the place today, guys. Woo! So there's 4 main energy types in the human design system. These 4 main energy types function completely differently than each other. They're very, very, very different. They have different ways of interacting and going about their life. And on the surface, we might think every single person is the same. We're all people. We all eat and shit and do our stuff, right? But actually, underneath the surface, every single person has a unique auric field. We have a unique aura. It's like a specific energy signature that each person has that determines how other people see them and determines kind of like their role that they play in society. So, for example, so there's 4 types. There's generator, projector, manifestor, and reflector. Okay, those are like the 4 main types. There's also manifesting generator, which is the 5th kind of generator, but we're not going to get into that. There's 4 types, okay? So these 4 types have a completely different way of just living and being, and this determines basically everything about like their career, their relationship, their health, and many different things, their happiness, how they should use themselves in their lives, what kinds of decisions to make, what authority should they listen to when making a decision. Should they listen to their gut, or should they listen to their head? Should they listen to their heart? Should they listen to their first instinct, or should they sleep on it and wait a day or 2 days before making a big decision? So you can see how useful this is for all kinds of people. When you're running a business, when you have lots of decisions to make, you need to know what your authority is in human design, meaning what part of myself should I listen to make a decision that's actually aligned with me, that's true for me. So human design, it might sound a little weird, but it's not about this new system that you use to then get your type and then to behave in some sort of unnatural, inauthentic way. Like, when people find their zodiac sign and then they just start behaving like a Pisces because they learn that they're a Pisces, so they start becoming more Pisces-like. It's like a placebo. Human design's not actually like that. Of course, you can always be under the influence of placebo, right? You can never avoid placebo. But the point of human design is actually deconditioning. So what that means is that in our lives, as we're born, we are conditioned with ways that we think we should or shouldn't behave. We do things because we feel forced to, or because it's socially acceptable to always have a lot of energy when you're in a social interaction, or it's socially acceptable to work every single day consistently, or to eat 3 meals a day. There's so many things, right? So human design, when you learn your genuine energy type, it actually helps you to come back to your true self. I've seen this reported in my clients. I've seen it live. I've felt it myself. When you learn your human design type and you learn how to live with it and to embody it, there's this feeling of relief. It's like, oh my God, that's like how I've always been. And now that I know that there's an actual like system that's explaining how I am, now I can like live my design. I can be more authentic. I can understand myself on the energetic level, which is very rare. And it's a little bit odd because a lot of these insights are highly specific for each person and for each type. I'm not really a master of it. It's extremely complicated, but I know enough to give you a beginner's introduction, okay? So in human design, we need to understand that there's these 4 main energy types, okay? Each one of these types have a different aura and they have a different role and purpose in society. So let's begin with the generator. Should we begin? Is it time to begin yet? I gotta feel into it. 1 second. Yes, I just confirmed with myself that it is time to begin. First, we're going to get a little drink of water, and we're going to explain the 4 main auric types in human design. And we're going to give a little beginner's introduction to each of them, okay? All right, I'm back. So Generators are the builders of society. So Ra'uruhu explained generators as being the literal creative energy of society, the life force of all of existence. Without generators, which make up up to 70% of our population, are either a generator or a manifesting generator. Those are 2 types of generators, okay? But they're all generators. These people in the human design system, I'll put a body graph on the screen now, and don't click off. I know it's complicated, it's fine. So there's these like defined channels and there's undefined channels. So the defined ones are the ones that have a color, they're filled in, and then there's ones that are white, they're open channels, okay? So generators always have a defined sacral. The sacral is the one that's over here, okay? The sacral center, if you have it defined, that means you have a consistent access to energy. You're like a battery, okay? So your sacral is like a self-charging battery. When you go to sleep at night, it recharges, and when you wake up, you have energy again. So generators are one of the only types who have access to that consistent energy, which is what makes them such great builders. So literally speaking, the slaves who were forced to build the pyramids, in theory, let's just use it as an analogy, okay? The actual people who like lifted the heavy rocks every single day, they probably rolled them, right? They probably had to use logs and, roll them up. I don't think anyone was lifting those giant rocks. But the people doing the consistent heavy manual labor were usually generators, okay? So as a generator, historically, people like you were slaves. And by the way, if you wanted to calculate your type, so that you kind of know what you are before I continue talking, you can just click the link in the description. That's a chart calculator there. It's a little bit detailed how to actually calculate your type. So I'm gonna make a little tutorial video, and then you can just follow that. Okay, that'll show you how to calculate your type. It's pretty easy. But should I do it that way? Is that a good way to do it? I just make everything up on the spot, guys. Everything is made up on the spot. There's no prep at all, because that's how my channel is, okay? And I'm sorry if you don't like it, go to somebody else's channel, okay? Thank you. So generators, you guys are like the slaves. You guys historically were the slaves that were basically extorted. What's the word when you're like, you're taken advantage of? You're taken advantage of for your energy battery. We, as a society, we actually need your consistent energy to just like have a lot of energy to like actually do things and achieve things. Okay, so generators are the type of people who can actually work really hard consistently day in and day out, and just sort of actually achieve through this raw energy. Okay, so as a generator, just know you are valued because of your energy. Okay, so the generator aura is an embracing aura. That's very loud. I'll just talk through it. So the aura of a generator is, imagine it's like a black hole. It's like sucking, drawing people to it. It has like almost like a gravitational field, okay? So this is how a generator kind of works. People recognize you because they feel attracted to your aura. Okay, so people come to you. As a generator, opportunities come to you in life. It's not your job to go after goals. See, this is a big insight. As a generator, it's not your job to go after goals and to go achieve goals. That's for the manifestors. The manifestors are the ones who have an idea. Oh, I'm going to build the pyramids. I'm going to actually go make it happen. Okay? Generators are not necessarily meant to make things happen, to force their goals. Okay, so in society, we're all conditioned to be manifestors. We're all conditioned, if you want something, go after it. Go make it happen. That's not necessarily true for generators, which is 70% of the population. For most people, they actually need to wait for opportunities to come to them. And they need to wait to respond. Okay, so the modus operandi of a healthy generator is to wait to respond. Wait to respond means that you wait for the job opportunity to come to you. It could come through a friend. It could come through you just sort of following your highest excitement, doing what you love to do in your life. Throughout your day, there's all sorts of opportunities that are coming to you all the time. The people are calling you, okay? People are offering you things. Hey, do you want the chicken for dinner? Or do you want the fish for dinner? Okay? As a generator, it depends on what your authority is. So you can either be a sacral generator or an emotional generator. Okay, I don't want to go too much into detail. But depending on what your authority is, you make your decision, in many cases, if you're a sacral generator, based on what your gut feeling says, okay? So if you hear the word chicken and your gut goes, it actually makes a sound. Your sacral actually will make a sound if you're a sacral generator. In that case, you say no to that thing, okay? But if you say, okay, but what about the fish? And then when you hear fish, your sacral goes, It's this very like childlike sort of like noise. It's a very, like your sacral will literally make a noise, okay? If you're an emotional generator, you need to wait a little bit. Before making an impulsive decision, you need to actually wait a day, Okay, so it depends on what your specific authority is. So everyone's different. Okay, but in general, as a generator, you're waiting for the big life opportunities. You're waiting for the invitations essentially to come to you. You're waiting for the aligned relationships, the aligned business relationships, the aligned personal relationships, the right opportunities. They come to you. They will come to you. Okay, you already have everything you need in your life on its way to you already. All you have to do is make sure that you are not saying yes to things you don't want to do. Okay, this is so important as a generator. As a generator, you have massive, valuable energy in your sacral. Okay, your sacral's defined, meaning it's like a battery. It's charging. There's tons of energy within you. Okay, people need your energy to achieve their goals. You're the person who's actually gonna like build their actual fucking house. Okay, I'm a projector. I can't do that. I'll get tired after 1 second and I'll have to go take a 12-hour nap. Okay, manifestors can't do that either. Okay, we literally need your energy to build society, but it's important for your personal health and satisfaction. Satisfaction, that's the key. When you know you're in alignment with yourself as a generator, if you feel satisfaction, that's how you know you're on the right track. If you feel satisfied with your life, when you go to bed at night, you feel satisfied. Okay, you know you're not in alignment as a generator if you feel frustrated. You're pissed off at everything. That's how you know if you're a generator, you're not in alignment. You're saying yes to things that are not for you. Okay? Your sacral energy knows what it has energy to work on. You want to do a very specific kind of work. Okay? The work that you're meant to do as a generator is a very specific kind of work. That your sacral energy is a lot of energy, but only for one specific thing. So you need to, it's your thing, that the thing you're meant to do. If when the opportunity presents itself to you, you get excited about it. You feel it's a yes. It's like, yes. If you're a sacral, it'll be a gut feeling. If you're an emotional generator, you may need to sleep on it first. Okay, sleep on it, then the next day, or because you need to go through the emotional cycle. You have very strong ups and downs. So you need to kind of wait the cycle out, give it a day, 2 days, then make your decision if it makes you feel alive and excited and satisfied. Okay, when you think about devoting your life energy. As a generator, you are a builder and you have a tough time stopping projects that you've started. So the key is not to say yes to things that you don't want to do, okay? Because that will save you lots of frustration. It'll make you feel happy and satisfied in your life, and you'll actualize your full potential as a generator. You'll create amazing art. You'll do fun things all day, every day. You'll have a fun and fulfilling life, okay? Let's move on. Projector. Hello, projector. I'm a projector. I know a lot about you. As a projector, this makes up, I think, around 20-ish% of the population are projectors, okay? Projectors are meant to be the guides. Did I finish generator? Did I say everything I wanted to say? Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Generator. Yeah, that's pretty good actually. Yeah, I'll make another video one day if I want to. Maybe not. I don't know. Who knows? Probably make another video. I think that's pretty good for generators. What do you think? Do you think you should like and subscribe to Adam's YouTube channel? I'm just kidding. All right, we're gonna move into projectors now, okay? Projectors. Hello, projectors. Welcome. So, as a projector, the thing you got to understand is that you don't have energy to do basically anything. Okay? Your job as a projector is not to outwork the competition. You're not supposed to outgrind and out-hustle the competition. Okay? As a projector, you are meant to guide other people, to help their energy flow more efficiently in a more aligned kind of way. Okay? So as a projector, you are not the worker of society. You are the guide of society that makes systems run more efficiently. It could be the human bioenergetic system. You could be a healer of some kind, clearing up blockages, making the energy run more efficiently. A diet coach, right? A business consultant, a systems analyst of some kind, a guide, a life coach. You're a guide, okay? You could be a teacher of some kind, okay? As a projector, you do not have energy of your own. So a projector never ever has a defined sacral, okay? They have an undefined sacral, and usually they also have an undefined throat as well, okay? If they had a defined throat, they'd be a manifestor. If they had a defined sacral, they'd be a generator. But they don't have any of that defined. Most of their centers are usually open, okay? Some projectors have defined head centers. Those are mental projectors. They're very thinky. They have a lot of good ideas. People come to them for their ideas. Some projectors have defined root and spleen. They're very powerful. The people come to them for their power. But basically, the point of your life as a projector is to be a guide. You are the guide, okay? What that means is that people come to you for advice, okay? They ask you for what you see, what you are valued as a projector, not for what you do. There's mosquitoes. You're valued as a projector for what you see, okay? The way you see the system. Okay, I'll tell you a story. I have two cousins that are generators, okay? They run a landscaping business. I showed up to my cousin's garage. I was riding my bike. I was saying hi. And they just bought this new tool. This tool is like a saw to cut wood, okay? So they were exhausted from a long day of generator work, landscaping, digging holes and, fucking building shit, right? Exhausting. So they were tired. They were ready to go home, but they were trying to get this saw to work. They just bought it, brand new tool. They wanted to get it to work before they called it a day. So I stood there for 5 minutes watching them try to get this screw into the socket, okay? This screw would not go into the socket. It was the screw that held the blade, okay? So the screw wouldn't go in. They tried everything. They were literally there for 5 minutes twisting it, turning it. My cousin got a drill. He tried drilling it. I was like, dude, stop. You're gonna strip the thread. You're gonna break the screw. Okay? He's like, fuck, what do? I gotta return it. I gotta, call the manufacturer. I gotta go back to Home Depot, or I gotta go back to the hardware store and return it. It's a whole mess, right? Like, fuck. Okay? I'm a projector. I was just watching. I was just looking very closely. And then I was like, here, let me try. Okay, so they were huffing and puffing, putting in so much energy that they can't fix this fucking system. Okay? I go in, right? And I just try turning the screw the other way. That's all I did. That's what I thought to do, just turn it the other way. It goes in instantly, in 2 seconds. And then my cousin started dying of laughter. He's like, oh my God, thank God you're here, bro. I would have wasted weeks of, going to the store, dealing with customer service, trying to fix this stupid system that wasn't working. But thank God you were here because you saw what to do. So this is exactly how projectors work. They see the way the system functions and they're able to get it to work with as little energy as possible. So as a projector, you are a lazy bum, okay? You are the laziest, lazy. Like if you see me, during my day, if I had a camera following me around, okay, maybe we'll do that one day, camera crew follows me around, what you would see is me just like lying down like 6 hours a day, okay? I don't want to do anything ever. That's not true. There are certain times where I do have energy, but it's inconsistent. So as a projector, you do have some energy, but it's inconsistent. It just comes all of a sudden, you have a bunch of energy and you're ready to make a 2-hour-long video and you're ready to go work out and you're ready to clean your house. But you got to use that energy in the window that it's there because it's not going to be there consistently. Okay? Most of the day, you're kind of just laying down, you're resting, your battery doesn't recharge, so you got to just like, whew. Okay, so since projectors are so lazy, they are so good at doing things in the most efficient way. As a projector, I want you to actually watch yourself. Notice that everything you do in your life, every single fucking thing you do in your life, you're doing so that you do it with less energy. Everything you do, you're trying to make it easier, more efficient. You're naturally good at making things efficient. Okay? When I'm running my business, all I think about is how do I minimize the amount of work that I have to do. Okay? So as a projector, since you don't have your own energy to generate energy, what you have to do as a projector is you have to plug yourself in to somebody else. So as a projector, your job is to guide somebody else. Projector's life is about the other. It's not about me. Generator's all about me. Manifestor is all about my impact. Reflector is all about the community. But projector is all about the other. Okay, projector's about the other. You're like, imagine a projector. This is what Ra-Uru-Hu said. It's like, imagine someone just walking around with a plug, looking for a socket to plug it into. Okay, this is like me when I go to clubs. No, I'm just kidding. It's just like walking around with a plug. You're literally like, what you do as a projector, you're almost like a parasite in a sort of, not a parasite, it's a symbiotic relationship, but you're like, you plug yourself into someone else's energy. So this is how it would work between a projector and a generator, is that you help to guide them to make their energy expenditure more efficient. So for example, when they're building the pyramids, all the generators are pulling the heavy ass slab of rock. Right? They're pulling it across the floor. There's like 100 generators. They're all just pulling this heavy rock. A projector is standing on the side. He's not pulling anything. He has no energy at all to do anything. He's just staring. And he's like, guys, I have a good idea. What if we got planks of wood, or if we got like what's it called, like barks of trees or tree trunks. Let's get some tree trunks. Let's put it underneath the big giant slab of rock, and let's get like 20 of them, and we'll create this like roller sort of like system. Okay, so then we can get the rock and put it on top of the trunks, and they'll roll. We can roll the giant slab of limestone, and then we can just continually do that. And we'll just, instead of having 100 generators pull this slab, we only need 10 of them, and so we just made the system more efficient. Okay, but the projector basically now needs to get paid for what they just did. So they just saved like so much energy. They just made the system way more efficient. So what they usually do is they get paid in exchange for making the system more efficient. Like, hey, you just saved me like 10 years worth of time and suffering and frustration, so here's $10,000 or here's $20,000. Because the projector can't make that money on their own because they don't have energy. So they can't go to work every single day and work, landscaping, 9 to 5 sort of thing. They can't produce like actual things that they build for society. They need to like stand aside and sort of give advice. That's your job as a projector, okay? So as a projector, your job is to stand aside and give advice, okay? You're in alignment as a projector if you feel successful. If you're not in alignment if you feel bitter, okay? So as a projector, you need to wait for the invitation. What does that mean? You need to wait for people to actually ask you for their advice. For your advice. Sorry, there's a lot of mosquitoes. You need to wait for people to ask you. Don't give people advice unless they literally ask you. This is so important because as a projector, you see that everyone else is doing everything wrong, okay? They're wasting energy. But that doesn't matter because they're doing it in their way that they like. Only give advice when someone asks you. They have to recognize, hey, this person has info that I need. And then they're going to come and they're going to pick your brain. Only share your advice if it's asked for. Okay? That's key. That'll save you a lot of time and energy as a projector, okay? Projectors are the guides. They work best one-on-one. Plug in, give advice only have relationships, like business relationships with people that are actually recognizing your expertise and are receiving your wisdom. Okay, so as a coach, when someone pays me, that's how I know they respect me, and then I can then pour everything into them because we have this sort of symbiotic relationship. All right? That's projectors. Woo! Next, we're going to move on to manifestors. Woo! But first, I'm going to stretch a bit. It's getting dark, guys. It's getting a little dark out here. Manifestors. I don't know too much about manifestors. I know a little bit. About manifestors. All right, so manifestors. Manifestors, whew. Forgive me if you're a manifester and I don't give you that same quality of explanation as I just did for the generators and projectors. Whew. We're going to explain it so that we can complete the video, okay? Manifestors, you guys are the visionaries of society, okay? So you're a manifestor if you have a defined throat chakra, and usually you have an undefined sacral center. They're not called a chakra, they're called a center, okay? So manifestors, you have a very rare ability to actually create new things. You can actually have a vision and actually make it happen. This is mind-boggling to me. So the majority of the human population doesn't have this ability to actually begin projects. So the person who actually had the idea of we're going to build the pyramids, we're gonna do it. You know, everyone's gonna come together. I'm gonna lead them, and because of what I say, we're gonna build the fucking pyramids. Okay, so what I say, that was key. Manifestors, you have a defined throat chakra, so literally like what you say like actually happens. it's crazy. So my brother and sister are manifestors. My brother will just like spontaneously just like think of a fun thing to do, like, hey, we should go to this restaurant, and then we should go to this concert after, right? And then everyone like just follows him, like everyone agrees, like, yeah, that's a great idea, let's just do that. So one thing I forgot to mention about the projector, which is the last one, so projectors have an aura that's like receiving and then slicing through, giving clear pinpoint advice. Okay, so that's a side note. The manifestor's aura is like pushing out. You're like almost repelling obstacles. So when you want something as a manifestor, you should just go for it. Just go for it and let other people know that you are gonna go for the thing that you want. You have to inform other people. Tell them, hey, it's like you're a truck that's driving down the freeway and you can't stop. And there's cars in front of you. What are you gonna do? You have to honk. Get out of the way. I'm fucking going for the thing that I want. I can't stop. I'm gonna go achieve my dreams, you know? Like, just, you gotta tell people, like, not in a rude way, but you need to just inform them, hey, by the way, I'm actually gonna go fly to this country next week. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. Just letting you know. Okay, just so there's nothing nothing weird. Everyone knows where I am. Everyone knows what I'm doing. Okay. So yeah, I don't fully understand manifestors. I'm still learning. Manifestors are like the leaders of society that actually, like, you have an idea to throw a party, and then people actually want to come to the party because things that you start are awesome. Okay, so as a manifestor, you should follow your authority, which could be a ego manifested authority. It could be a throat authority, like a voice activated authority. It depends. You have different authorities, but you should follow what you want and you should go for it. Okay, so there's actually a lot of details about manifestors. Certain manifestors are voice activated authorities, which means that they should speak what they want out loud to know whether or not it actually resonates for them. So a client of mine, she's a voice activated manifestor, so I told her, before you do anything or before you make decisions, say it to yourself. Hey, I'm gonna go to Applebee's. I'm going to go to this country. I'm going to quit my job. Right? So you know if something resonates if you say it to yourself as a voice activated manifestor. All right? So a manifestor is almost like this unstoppable force of, like, everyone moves out of the way. There was this story of a woman who had a manifestor aura, and it was a human design coach's client that I was listening to. She had a manifestor aura, and when she went to the women's bathroom, oftentimes in the women's bathroom, there's like long lineups to use the stalls. So as a manifestor, this woman, like, she kind of walked into the bathroom, and some of the other women would like almost move out of the way and like just like let her go first, like for no reason other than that she has this almost royal, like regal queen energy like to her, where her aura is literally repelling obstacles. It's literally moving people out of the way, like out of the way, the queen is coming, you know, bow down kind of vibe. Okay, so yeah, manifestors are not better than other people. They need generators in order to achieve their goals and their visions. They need projectors in order to guide them to be the most efficient. But yeah, you are the type that you go for what you want. Okay, so you should do that. And there's of course more details to every single individual chart is totally different. Okay. Lastly, I wanted to talk about reflectors. Okay, reflectors. Reflectors are very weird and enigmatic. They make up less than 1% of the human population. And basically, so for every 100 people, there's one reflector. And it's actually like that by design. That's why it's called human design. If you imagine humans as a species that lives in tribes, the purpose of the reflector is to be like the thermometer that determines the health of the tribe. So the reflector's purpose is to sample the energy around them. Their aura is like a sampling aura, where it's like this membrane that's selectively permeable. Okay, back to science class. It's a selectively permeable membrane. 1 second. So the reflector aura is a selectively permeable membrane because it's only sampling its environment and the people in its environment, and then it's reflecting that energy back out. So if a reflector is very angry, it's usually because the people in its community or the people around the reflector have anger within them, and the reflector's actually kind of just reflecting back to you the current state of affairs, the health of the society. So imagine this tribe, something is going wrong. It's not a healthy tribe. Maybe they're polluting the water, for example. The reflector would usually be the first person to get sick. If your reflector, so imagine you have a tribe of 100 people and there's only one reflector. If your reflector is sick, then that means the whole tribe is going to be sick. Okay? Very interesting. So as a reflector, you have a very, very unique type. It's very different, very, very, very different from all the other types. They have all of their centers open. All of the centers are open. Okay. As a reflector, you function on a 28-day lunar cycle. So you need to actually, as a reflector, in order to get the most out of your design, it's advised to hire a reflector coach. There's specific people on Earth that are able to calculate the reflector's chart. Because as a reflector, as the moon moves its position, you're very sensitive to the moon, like 10 times, actually 100 times more sensitive to the moon than other types. Okay, so as a reflector, wherever the moon is actually determines how you show up and how you feel on that given day. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to work with an actual human design coach who specializes in reflectors so that they can calculate your day-to-day chart so that you know 28 days in advance how you're going to feel each day of the month. So on some days, reflectors will actually have the moon in a specific position that it actually changes their entire chart and causes them to behave like a generator. It actually transforms them into a generator based on where the moon is. On another day, they might be a projector. On another day, they might be a manifestor. So reflectors are this like just weird like chameleon sort of creature that like can become different things on different days, which is why it's advised to work with a coach that specializes in reflectors so that you can gain some mastery over your cycles and your own type. All right, so for example, you might want to plan your life so that when you have a lot of heavy lifting to do or you have a lot of work to do, you do it on a generator day. Or when you are taking clients or you're talking to people one-on-one, that might be on your projector day, or you have a rest day would be a nice projector day. Or a good day to start your business might be a manifestor day. Okay, so your chart changes based on the position of the moon. And when you're making big life decisions as a reflector, you should wait 28 days before making your decision. You have to wait an entire lunar cycle before making that big life decision. Trust me, that opportunity will still be there. If that opportunity is not there after the 28 days, that means it wasn't meant for you. Okay, so as a reflector, life will give you those 28 days to really go through your whole cycle so that you can know whether or not this opportunity, this big life-changing event is good for you or not, okay? As a reflector, the key to your health is finding the right community. Finding the right community, surrounding yourself. The ultimate goal of a reflector is to find a community where they feel healthy. Okay, where they can feel like that they're their best selves, okay? When a reflector is in a healthy community, they shine and they reflect the health of their community. All right? Okay. So that was my introduction to the 4 main types of human design. There is like so much stuff in this system that it's like almost overwhelming, to be honest. One sec, let me turn my flash on. There is so much stuff in this human design system. It is a little bit overwhelming, to be honest, for me. I'm learning a lot and I'm using it on my clients and it's working extremely well, giving very highly specific advice for how someone can use their energy more efficiently, how they can find their purpose in life, who you're meant to be based on this specific chart. I actually use many systems, not only human design, but human design is one of them that I've found to be very powerful. Highly specific advice, custom tailored. For example, if you're a projector, you should sleep in a room alone by yourself because your energy needs time to recharge. So if you're sleeping with someone as a projector and you're doing that consistently, you might end up feeling tired and drained and you won't get optimal rest. Okay, if you're in someone else's field as you're sleeping, you won't rest properly. So that's just like an example of some really hyper specific advice. There's mountains of it. Okay, I can't give all of it. It's impossible. I have to spend the next 7 years studying this system. Okay, it's very complex. It's a bit convoluted. It's quite convoluted. I've put in a lot of time and energy to studying it and testing it. I wanted to make a note before I end the video that the specific, actually, you know what? I'm gonna make that note in the supporting video for how to calculate your chart. Okay, how to calculate your chart. So yeah, I guess that's the next step for you. So the next step for you is to learn how to calculate your chart. Okay, there's a link in the description with a little sort of video that I'm planning on making. It's 2 minutes long, just sort of showing you how to calculate your chart and also why I use a very specific chart calculator that actually gives different results than most human design chart calculators. I believe that most human design teachers and consultants and so forth are actually using the wrong charts that are less accurate than this one specific chart that I found, because it calculates using true sky astrology, which is the actual planetary positions of the actual sky, and it's not based on the less accurate tropical system, which is what most human design calculators are. So if you use my calculator and you get a different result than like a mainstream calculator or some other website that you've done, then I would actually encourage you to trust the one that I shared with you and to try that one on for size. You might find it more accurate. Okay, I've personally found that this calculator is much more accurate than the other calculators because it uses true sky astrology. It's just like it's just like fucking clear. It's clear. It's laser. It's like zing. Okay, it's clean. You know, it uses the actual sky, not the made up human tropical system. Okay, of astrology. That's kind of a side point, but the tropical system is made up by the months. The months is a human construction. Okay, the actual sky is not a human construction. It's actually there. Okay, so when we calculate a chart that uses astrology, which human design does, it uses astrology to calculate your chart. You want to be as accurate to the actual sky as possible. Right, so that's why CosmicHumanDesign.com has the best chart calculator. Some dude actually had to make it himself, and it is very very powerful. So that's the next step, is to calculate your chart. You can learn more by checking out this human design playlist that I'll also link in the description. It's not my videos, it's someone else's videos. You can learn a bit from the creator. Super convoluted and complex. Good luck understanding that kind of stuff on your own. Otherwise, what I recommend you do is you just stay tuned. I'll probably make more videos about it, and we'll talk a little bit about those types and that kind of stuff. But if you did want to research it on your own, in the future, I'll share like good books. There's a good playlist that I said you can check out. So those resources in the description. Yeah, so calculate your chart. And just study it. Figure it out. It's like a little puzzle, okay? If you want me to do that for you, along with many other things, then you can consider working with me as my client. We do a lot of things. We don't just do human design. We do general life energetic alignment to help you align with your life purpose, your diet, use your energy more efficiently in your life, your passion, your highest excitement, all this kind of stuff, okay? Meditation and so forth. So if you wanted to be my full-time client, you can also apply, the link in the description, and we'll work on that personally, one-on-one, okay? Get you some very powerful, life-changing results, align you with your true self. It's some very powerful stuff. Gain a lot more satisfaction and peace and fulfillment in your life. All right, I'm signing out. Peace.